soon after I saw you perform, you sustained a pretty serious back injury.
Yes.
I want to talk about what happened and then how you dealt with this back injury. Like it was serious. Like you and I were talking. Like you could barely get out of bed. How'd you overcome it? How'd you fix it? What happened?
In the show, in the very beginning, there is a jump that I do off of the bed. That's sort of, for me, like I take that moment to jump literally as high as I possibly can, because it's like a launch into the story, a launch into the world. And again, it was within my wheelhouse of things that I've done. And I had done that jump over almost 200 times at this point over the last year that I've been doing this. So
I'm going to interrupt 1 second because just for context for how high you can jump. Many people who follow me on Instagram can see that I do box jumps and they're like, geez, you jump fucking high. You can jump almost double as high as I can. Just so people can get an understanding of how wild your jumps are, you can jump almost double the height that I can. So it's fucking high.
I have been, I owe a lot of it, again, to the parkour. There's so much like jump and like precision and stuff involved that like even though I'm small up here, I got some legs, which love that. The goal I was working on when I was like at the height of working my plyo box jumps was to try to jump my height. Not there yet.
Close.
But one day.
You're close.
It will happen. It's going to happen.
So you do this jump 200 times.
I do this jump. I've done it many, many times. And of course, when you do a jump this high, especially off of elevation as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not only doing as high as I can from a standing plyo, but I'm also elevated for the. I have
it's
no
a depth
sense of
jump.
measurement.
Yeah.
It's a depth jump, so it's very big. I try to always absorb with very soft landings and then move on. And I never really thought about it because it was something that I had practiced so many times. But it was a freak thing that just happened where I had it was a lower back strain that happened. It was the official diagnosis from my doctor. And when I hit that landing on that day of the show, it was the opening night of a show in, I believe it was Houston. I felt this surge of pain through my spine. And immediately, first of all, something was wrong. Something's wrong.
And you're performing.
I am in front of almost 2,500 people when this happened. So, yeah, I'm the last couple of years that I've been acting, I'm never like, you get a little stage fright, but I'm not nervous in front of an audience anymore, a live audience. Weirdly, in front of a camera, I get kind of nervous sometimes, but in front of an audience, I wasn't nervous. But then I was like acutely aware. I'm like, I'm in front of thousands of people and I cannot move. I was like, I couldn't straighten my back. I was like in a kind of a hunched over position. I couldn't run, like all of those things, the freedom that I had built. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do anything. And muscle memory sort of took over and I like managed to make it through the next couple of scenes. So I was still on stage for another 7 to 8 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Of just getting through it. And I was like, okay, I can't move my body. Clarity of text is going to be the important thing right now. At least if you can't move, deliver the text and like keep it lifted and whatever, and just assess over the next couple of things. I'm like, I know I'm very likely going to have to stop, but I need to know like the severity of what's happening. So I keep moving for a bit and it became very apparent very quickly. I'm like, I can't go on. Knowing what is to come for the show and the how athletic the show is, there was no possible way I could go on. So about 10, 15 minutes into the show, I leave the stage. I sort of collapse near stage management and I'm like, you gotta stop. Huge shout out to Savadu Jivaratna, who is our understudy for Pi, who is amazing. He's a fantastic performer. He is like a little brother to me, and he's been my partner in this for so long. Who, at a moment's notice, he was like, I'm ready to go. Took over, and he was on as Pi for the rest of the night. I went to PT and had some of the worst back spasms I have ever. I've never, like, in the pain threshold, you know, they're like, name your pain 1 to 10. I don't think I've ever felt a true 10 in my life until that happened. Horrifying, like, amounts of pain of just like you move just even in the slightest wrong way, and it triggers this thing that will not stop for 3 to 4 minutes at a time. And I was just immobilized on the side of the little assessment bench, and I was like, I don't know what's about to happen with my life right now. My body is it's my way of living. It's how I earn my living. It's my freedom. It's all of these things. And suddenly it was gone. All of it. I was terrified. So I'm getting like a little emotional, like thinking about it, or like talking about it right now. And like, you know, I'm blessed for the people at my team at Life of Pi, and like Glenn, who was our PT there at the time, who was like there for me, like at instant, and like just helping me, our company management that was there. And for the rest of the show, because I couldn't get home, and we were like weighing, like, is a hospital, like, what is the thing that's going to happen? Like what happened? We're still trying to assess, and like where my movement capabilities were, like what was safe, what wasn't safe. It became immediately like, once the pain had subsided, my logical brain was like, all right, we need to kick in now. First, we need to stop panicking. Don't panic. There's a lot happening. Don't panic. So it's like, all right, start with where you are. Just start with where you are. A lot of it was, okay, I'm stuck on my side. How do I get upright? First obstacle. So it was a lot of shifting. It was a lot of like figuring things out. I couldn't stand up straight for the next like couple of days. I couldn't straighten my back. So I was like doubled over on crutches. And even that, like, I couldn't walk on the crutches. It was like dragging crutches in front of me and like dragging my legs behind me. It was terrifying. It was really, really hard. But I did find that like on the floor, when I was in I'm just going to do this. Like when I was in a sort of a flexed position like this on the floor, I wasn't feeling a lot of pain. I was like, okay, this is information. And I was like, a lot of my floor mobility was still there. And I could move around. I was like doing very gentle, like 90s with my hips. And I'm like, okay, what can I do without pain? That was the key thing. It wasn't, and this is where I the movement is medicine aspect really kicks in. It's like, where can you find your freedom again without pain? That doesn't exacerbate, that doesn't trigger where the injury area was. And so it was just like, how do you find more information about what is happening? You don't just stop moving, was the thing that I had learned. Within reason. So that night was just about me getting home. That was my biggest obstacle. So how do I get home to my wife? And, you know, it was late in the evening at that point, and it was just like figuring out where I was comfortable, what I could do. I got home, and the next like 2 days were, again, some of the worst back spasms. That's when like you and I were, had chatted for a bit, of just complete immobility. And through the grace of modern medicine, muscle relaxants, oral steroids, and painkillers were a lifesaver. That helped tremendously in terms of stopping the spasms and stopping the localized pain enough to where I could get upright again. I could walk again. So it was just literally day by day by day by day of just first letting the medicine do its thing and just being patient, as patient as possible. Then in the interim, this is where I want to talk about something that I, as a coach, have been the thing that was passed down to me by my coach was also a huge admirer of you, and I was like one of the first introductors of you to me. Melanie Wales, who's still an incredible coach. She has been my coach throughout Life of Pi.
That's awesome.
Has given me all of my programming, all of my stuff, and I was her mentee for the first part of like when I was working at Swift, and I was like building my own personal training business on the side and working with clients. She was my mentor. She taught me this thing called the Foundational Five. That was like her overall health philosophy that I have integrated into my own life, and it's just a part of my life now. Now I teach it to every single one of my clients. I talk to anybody that will listen. They're the 5 core pillars of your overall health that have a symbiotic relationship to where if you can gift yourself with one, you will start to spiral upwards in your health journey. It's move daily, eat well, stay hydrated, reduce stress, and prioritize sleep. So everybody has their own relationship with those things, but in terms of injury management and prevention, that was my thing. It's like my job is to bolster each of those things in any capacity that I can. Moving daily was the thing that was hindered the most. But I could give myself the gifts I could for getting more protein for recovery, for muscle recovery, getting a lot of fiber to keep things moving and regular because my body wasn't able to move. And your body, when you're able to move more, that can help literally move things around to keep you more regular. I didn't have that, so making sure I was getting enough fiber in my diet, which not enough people are doing, is critically important. Getting enough water, but not just water, like getting your electrolytes, because I'm also doing something very athletic all the time. I'm sweating a lot, so replenishing your salts. Reducing stress, that's very abstract. That can mean lots of different things, but that for me, that was don't panic. Find things that literally just, again, bring you joy. I love to read. I'm a big big into my fantasy books, love them. Calling people, calling friends, like the influx of just love and support, of people that were like there for me, even random patrons from the night that it happened, like 50 people like DM'd me and were like,
That's awesome.
Saw you run off stage, and like, were you okay? Like, was everything okay? It was very warming to see just how many people like were there for me when that happened. And then sleep, just getting a good night's sleep, man. Like, there's so much about recovery, and we need like another whole podcast to talk about it. Bring the sleep expert on if you haven't already. Like, just my God, just the benefit of a good night's rest. Those were the key focuses for when the injury happened to where I am now and where I still am.
You're 100% now. Back is good.
Yes.
How long would you say it took you from initiation of the injury to, I would say, 90%?
About 3.5 weeks.
So that to me is amazing. And what it speaks volumes to is the strength that you had built prior to that, right? Which is the idea of we're all going to get injured.
Yes.
We're all going to take risks that lead to an injury at some point, whether you realize it or not. But I'd rather be injured and strong than injured and weak, right?
That's right, dude. Like, your body remembers. Like, that's the beautiful thing about all of this is, when you train, when you move, when you perform, when you do all these things, like, your body encodes these memories of not just like what you're capable of, but it can remember what it's like to be strong. And when you have a baseline of reference to call back to, like, of course, like, there's panic, there is disappointment, there's anger, there's like all of these feelings that come up when you're injured, when suddenly you are robbed of that freedom. You're robbed of those feelings of elation and confidence and strength and all of those things. Like when it's taken away from you, things are all over the place. When you finally have the space to just like really take stock of things and you can start the progression again, you know, to progressively overcome the obstacle, when the parkour philosophy kicks in again, that's when you've incorporated something much bigger in your life. You've incorporated a path of physical and emotional and mental resilience in your journey in life, and that you can, yes, that these things will happen. Life is unpredictable, and we will get hurt in different ways. We could sustain a physical injury, but we can also go through like very traumatic emotional things in our life. And to know that there are steps to take, there are tools available, there are philosophies to follow, there are experts to listen to, that are out there to help you along your journey again, is the most liberating and empowering thing that you can think about in that recovery process. And I am just grateful, man. I'm like, when I think about where I am now, like I'm doing the show again here in Fort Worth right now, and you know, made a couple of modifications in ways where I'm like, I'm not doing the 50-foot jump that I used to do in the beginning of the show, but I made an adjustment that is within my comfort level and where I am now, and still allows me to joyously tell this story that I have with this team that I have come to love, and sharing it with almost, I don't know the number at this point, but hundreds of thousands of people.
It's incredible.